evening and hello. My name is Renee D. Waring and I am the founder of Uniquely and Wonderfully Made Ministries. Welcome to you all. I'm glad to be able to spend this time talking with you today. May is National Mental Health Awareness Month. In celebration of this month, I will be speaking from the topic of the church and the mentally ill. In general, the Christian church has not handled their interactions with the mentally ill well. The American society is steeped in technology. Many people, especially the youth, have their heads constantly buried in their smartphones. This is having an ill effect on their mental and physical health. Not only are people not exercising, they are also experiencing mental health problems of depression, loneliness, stress, and anxiety as a result of the extended use of their smartphones. In many cases, this unhealthy use of their phones is the root cause of mental illness, and in many other cases, the root causes of mental illness are genetics and the environment. When people who are mentally ill come to many of our churches, they are either not welcomed and or mistreated. They are in search of love and compassion, but instead they encounter cold-heartedness and stigmatization. Many pastors do not realize that their attitudes and hearts towards the mentally ill are reflected in the attitudes and hearts of their congregants. I do not think that the pastors have malice in their hearts towards people with mental illness. However, they just reflect the attitudes of the society of which they are a part. Nevertheless, the change in the church begins with the pastor. The pastor has a great influence on his congregation. In many cases, his people come to him for counsel on their life problems before they would think of going to a professional counselor because they trust him. Steps can be taken to change the hearts and minds of the people if the pastor leads the way. First, the pastor can take courses on mental health and encourage his people to take courses too. The courses, however, must be free or require payment of just a minimal fee. Second, the pastor can speak constructively to his members about mental health in the sermon or a talk. Third, he can have a mental health professional talk to his or her members. Fourth, he can put together a resource library on mental health for the members. Fifth, he can have an Alcoholics and Narcotics Anonymous groups meet in the church. Sixth, the pastor can start a partnership with a professional counseling group to refer congregants when they need counseling. Seventh, he can start a youth outreach ministry to people who have mental illness to bring the people into the church. There is a group in the area of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, that teaches congregants how to properly and constructively interact with people who have mental illness. It is called Mental Health First Aid, and they talk to the congregation by invite of the pastor. Eighth, the pastor can visit and encourage others to visit with members who have mental illness to show them love and compassion. For example, when a child commits suicide, the church member should go to the home of the parents to bring them food, prayers of healing and compassion, and offers to be on a call to lend a helping hand. When Pastor Rick Warren's son committed suicide, he was not shown such compassion by his congregation. Pastor Warren had to admonish the people by telling them that people who have physical illnesses like diabetes and high blood pressure are not stigmatized for their illness. Therefore, people with brain disease or mental illness should not be stigmatized for their illness either. Many Christians believe that people with mental illness have it because they have sinned against God and God is punishing them for their sin, like King Nebuchadnezzar in the Bible, who sinned before God. The king's sin was that he believed he was God. So God struck him with mental illness for 7 years to humble him. The belief that mental illness is the result of God's judgment for sin is not true. It is no more true than high blood pressure is God's judgment for sin. Mental illness is a chemical imbalance of the brain. Thus ends my talk for today. I hope that you found it to be both interesting and informative. I enjoyed speaking with you all today. Here at Uniquely and Wonderfully Made Ministries, we purpose to change the hearts and minds of the public by putting forth the evidence to support the assertion that people with mental illness have value. Our president and founder of Uniquely and Wonderfully Made Ministries is Renee D. Waring. We provide the following services. 1. We publish blogs on the topic of mental illness on the second and fourth Thursdays of each month. 2. We publish videos on the topic of mental illness on the second and fourth Fridays of each month. 3. We publish the book which helps people to gain a greater understanding about the challenges of mental illness. The author of the book is Renee D. Waring. She is a survivor of 4 suicide attempts. She is a native of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. She holds a BA in psychology from Temple University. She is an activist for social and healthcare issues impacting people with mental illness. Despite being stigmatized by society, Renee is the warrior warring against mental illness and how it is perceived. Her book entitled The Warrior Warring, WARRING, second edition, is on Amazon.com for $8.95. Buy your copy today. My website is Uniquely, UNIQUELY, and wonderfullymadeministries.com. My website is Uniquely, UNIQUELY, and wonderfullymadeministries.com. I repeat, my website is Uniquely and wonderfullymadeministries.com. My email address is mirecovery74@gmail.com. mirecovery74@gmail.com. Once again, my email address is mirecovery74@gmail.com. I am looking for speaking engagements. Send me your concerns and your prayer requests. This is Renee D. Waring signing off.